Yeah, good luck.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Octopus Movement podcast, where we celebrate the extraordinary multi-potentiality of nonlinear thinkers and their undeniable impact on the world. I'm your host, Aidan Gillenbruns, and today I'm joined by none other than Namrata Singh, who is the founder of the Humanist magazine and a newsletter, and also a tech entrepreneur, possibly the only tech entrepreneur who has deep insight of APIs and how they work, but unable to program her own TV remote control. As a founding member of the Octopus Movement, Namrata's tentacular suckers all over the group's powerful vision. Linear meets nonlinear, the human mycelium grows, unsolvable solved, and sustainable future blooms. Namrata, welcome.
Wow, that is an amazing introduction. First of all, thank you, Aidan. That's actually very right. That is me. I can think about multiple nuances of tech, and when you bring a remote in front of me, I'll be like, "Oh my God, I don't know how to work my own TV." So yes, that's
I was
me.
thinking a lot about it today. Do you think it just might be that the TV remote's a bit too basic technology for your octopus brain? Maybe it's just too
I would
simple.
think so. It's not simple enough. It's even my kid sometimes struggle. So, and she's very intelligent. So I'm assuming it's just basic.
Namrata, you're a flag steaming forward there, making a huge impact with this new venture of yours, the Humanist newsletter. It celebrates a lot of what it is to be human, but let's go back to the beginning of when you discovered your non-linearity in your thinking.
I actually did not discover my non-linearity till about 2 years back. I knew I was different. I knew I was thinking different. I did not fit into. I was born in India, and India is very linear in the systems that. I'm sorry to say, Aidan, but the British said that, and we love it. We just keep going with it, and. Some of the systems are very linear, and everybody has to be either an engineer or a doctor or an accountant, and it requires a certain kind of thinking, and I was just out of it. So I was always on the peripheries. I got attracted to its English, to its geography, history, stories, and I knew that probably that's why my brain is a little different, but I thought I was just dumb, which is the usual. And I went through my life, and then I got married, had kids, was in consulting, finance, tech, and at some point I was burning out. When I burnt out, that is when I reached out to the therapist, and she said, "Have you considered that maybe you are neurodiverse?" And the stimulation that are coming through is your brain is not able to process it because your brain is already functioning at a much higher place in your pattern recognition, and that is when.
Well, I was going to say, you said that you grew up there on the peripheries, on the outside, kind of looking in, but it didn't seem to stop you. You powered full steam ahead there, so full steam ahead that you burnt yourself out in a very successful career.
I don't know if I would call it successful. I would call it more a very diverse career. Like I said, I've been in knowledge, consulting, finance, tech, pharma, all of those things I jumped through. And instead of, I would say, resilience, I would call it curiosity. I am an extremely curious person, and most multi-potentialites are. And I followed my curiosity. I was like, oh my God, that sounds interesting. Let me go there and let me go there. And that has got me to where I am, where I have all this knowledge. And I'm like, okay, now I need to focus what I know.
What is the most unusual or weirdest situation your curiosity has led you into?
Some of the weird situations. Oh my God. This is amazing. So I got in touch with Nusser, Nas Daily, from the video fame. I followed him, and he's like, "Oh, we are setting up this 1 billion followers summit in Dubai. You should come, or you guys should come." And I had left my job, and I booked my one-way ticket in to Dubai, and I was like, "I'm going to go. I'm going to see what happens." I had no focus. I had no platform. I had nothing. I just went in. That's my curiosity, and my mind was absolutely blown.
So yeah, it takes a lot of courage there, is what it sounds like, and what I'm hearing through is a lot of courage, but to just stand through and be yourself and not follow the mainstream in India, to powering ahead in really quite difficult careers and quite difficult corporate environments, to then following your curiosity wherever it leads, even when you don't know where it's leading. Do you find courage is a necessary ingredient for a successful octopus?
You can look at courage in two ways. It's either, like I said, it's either courage or either dumbness. You can think of it as dumbness, and you just essentially filter out all of these opinions, and you just
Yeah.
say, well, I am looking at it. I gotta find it out. If I don't find it out, I won't be sleeping at night. So I gotta go and I gotta figure it out. And people are like, oh, you shouldn't do this. What are you doing? Are you crazy? I went ahead and I have found some lifelong friends because of that attitude. The friends who are like, yeah, she's like that.
So you've gone on this adventure, you've burnt out, you've taken some time traveling, and you've now leveraged it all for the humanist. What is the humanist?
Brilliant question. Humanist came to me during a meditation. So I started meditating last year and it has changed my life. Highly recommended. It came to me, the word just like popped, like it was human, humaning, and then humanist. And I realized, am I a technologist? Am I a consulting? No, I'm none of those. I'm a middle of all of those. I'm a human who knows how to use technology or how to drive certain product things for the benefit of the humans and seeing the human in all of us. None of us are robots. Robots are AI.
Even that person in the office that we all know, every office has one, and we're like, really, there's no human in them.
There's no
Even
human.
them?
Exactly. We all have a soul. We all have a heart, and our heart hurts, our soul hurts, all of those things. And I think that's the human in us, and humanist is around that. It brings up human stories in an age where folks or systems are trying to make everybody system centric, and I don't think that's how. That's probably the reason for all this unhappiness and the non-kindness that we see around the world.
Do you think a lot of this is informed from your culture of growing up in India? A lot of it sounds like it touches on some of Indian culture and some kind of the kind of Hindu spirituality in a lot of ways. I don't know if that's informed any of your kind of pathways.
I would say that, yes, I would say that. Growing up, so I come from a family of spiritualists, intelligent, very, very intellectual people. My grandfather was a professor of humanities in one of the engineering colleges back in India. He had all of these stack of books around spirituality, and all of them were around awakening. And I was barely 11, 12 when I started reading it. So all of it went into my head. So definitely, I think all of it is coming back in terms of, yes, awakened humans behave differently.
And how do we awaken them, Namrata? How can we octopuses, awaken ourselves? I've tried Vipassana, and I found it. I did the whole Vipassana experience to practice my meditation. Felt it was like a practice for a prisoner of war training camp or something, but it was just horrendous with my octopus mind. I couldn't settle at all. What do we do?
That's a great question, Aidan. I think one of the ways, and I think a very impactful way, and that's why we are talking about impact, is feeling yourself as a sovereign being. You are a sovereign human. And when you behave and talk and act like a sovereign human, like, I'm not here to hurt you, I'm here to understand you and turn you and show you a mirror that you are also a sovereign human. You are also infinite. You are also multi-potentialite. I'm not the only one. We all have our gifts. And once you tell them that, something flips. And that something flipping is where the awakening starts.
That sounds like one of those things that's easy to say, but not quite so simple to do.
No, it's a brutal awakening. Is one of the most brutal things one can go through, because you're facing all these half-truths, lies that the system has told you about yourself as a human potential, as a human mind, and you're like, no, but I'm so much more, and that it pisses you off. Like Karen told me one of the meetings that the truth will set you free, but it will piss you off first. So this is entirely from Karen.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
It'll piss you off.
Yeah, liberated and pissed off. That's me. So, rather than the humanist, it seems to fit nicely into our octopus vision here. It's very nicely contributing to the human mycelium. How does the humanist connect people and octopus minds around the world?
So as a founder of Humanist, I represent that particular, I would say, ideology. I wouldn't want to call it ideology, but something similar, into rooms where I have access into. So, for example, I have reached out to neurodiversity in business. It's a very big organization working out of the UK, which essentially talks about people's minds and their diversity and how to accommodate such brilliant minds into systems that are not made for such brilliant minds. Then I'm also not working, but I'm sort of supporting the NAS Daily group. They have a big platform, and he is the epitome of human potential and epitome when it comes to what your human mind can do. He started traveling, and then he built this platform that enables other people to build their own platforms. And that's how I reached out to him. I did NAS travels with him. I have a thing with NAS.io. So it's just building up.
Wow. So talking there about inclusion of neurodiverse people, it sounds like inclusion, or in my experience anyway, inclusion is a lot like being a good kisser or having a good sense of humor. Everyone thinks they have it or they do it, but when it actually comes down to it, not so many people do. So what are the challenges, and how can octopus nonlinear minds leverage themselves well in the workplace and get themselves sort of accommodated and accepted, do you think?
So there are two ways to look at it. First is, of course, what is inclusion? Inclusion is acceptance, and acceptance comes from a happy mind, a kind mind, or a happy mind and a kind heart.
Okay, and many of those in corporate?
You can, that's where humanist comes in. So I am starting a humanist leadership institute where I essentially want to talk to leaders, and I have access into leaders in many corporate, American corporate, venture capitalists, a lot of those people. I want to talk the importance of happiness, kindness. When you are happy and kind and you have forgiven yourself and you've forgiven the other, you will accept everybody as exactly as they are. And you will see them not as a weakness. You will be like, oh my God, this guy, he has strength. This is his strength. Let's leverage his strength versus, oh, what can he not do? That's not inclusion.
Now, I'm sure these people that this won't be news to a lot of these people, in the sense that they know we've got the message along for a long time: be happy, be kind, be nice for the people. But it's easy to say, again, it's not so easy to do. How can we, what's the humanist approach to being happy and kind? How about putting it into action? What does it look like?
For me, it looks like, being out there, having these conversations, taking it to as many people as possible through AI, through innovation, through the right people. Like NAS.io is a big channel. It's 65 million people. All of them believe in, the human mind. All of them believe in kindness and acceptance. And they have people all over the world. You can set up successful platforms, successful tech companies by accepting people from everywhere and exactly as they are. You can do big things. And NAS is Nussair's company and Dan's company in UK, which is NIB, and Octopus Movement. 3 big movements right here. We accept people as they are, and people will come. People will build great things for you. You don't have to build anything. You just have to be there and provide the platform. That's it.
Just smile and the butterflies will land on you.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to have a butterfly movement. That can be the next one. Yeah. So looking in, what's the unsolvable problem that humanists is really tackling here? What's the really big, meaty one that keeps you up at night, scratching your head, saying, "God, this is what humanist needs to do, but I don't know how"?
One of the unsolvable things that I'm thinking is, how to make people more mindful, conscious consumption, how to stop. I don't want to say stop capitalism. That's not where I am. I am the beneficiary of capitalism. I'm in the middle of America, sitting benefiting from everything that capitalism has provided. But there is a kind side to capitalism. So that's my unsolvable. How do we make our consumption conscious? How do we make it sustainable? How do we make it mindful, that when you're doing it, you're like, why am I really doing this? Why do I need an LV bag? Why do I need 5 cars? Why do I need a 4,000 square feet home?
Because, Namrata, sometimes it feels so wrong, but it feels so right. And
I know.
We need that feeling sometimes.
I'm drinking Starbucks.
Well, do it. Just do it.
Sometimes you are a basic bougie person. I'm very bougie. I get it, but I'm the mindful bougie. The mindful
I'll do
bougie.
it. I'll take it. Put that as a quote on the screen.
Exactly. Exactly.
So mindful. Okay, so mindful consumption. So how are you going to tackle it? And how is?
I'll tell you the impact of mindfulness. If you really take your mind completely on the other, where my mind is working, I am in touch with people in defense, in the American, defense systems, who are talking this talk, who are like, our soldiers, our systems are set up to do these things. If we bring in the mindfulness practice, what would it mean? What is the difference? Reducing collateral damage, not getting into wars that we don't want to get into. What does that mean? People are starting to think on those lines. So that's the impact. It's an unsolvable problem, and we are in the middle of like so many wars. And if this is not the time, then when? If not now, then when?
Yeah, maybe 2 years ago would have been good. But anyway,
no, sometimes, Aiden, sometimes you need, sorry for the bad word, but sometimes you need shit to hit the fan.
Yes,
for things
only
to
then
change.
do people start thinking to, yes, you're right. And I think it well and truly has hit the fan lately.
Yes.
Mindfulness-based pain reduction is where if you've got chronic pain and your brain still feels pain, despite the injury going away, you can use mindfulness to powerfully reduce your sensation of pain, because all pain happens in the brain. So, because life happens in your brain, it doesn't actually happen in your body at all. How interesting. So yeah, mindfulness is very powerful. But as somebody with ADHD, I find mindfulness a bit of a stick that I'm beaten with. Be more mindful. And I feel like a fly stuck in a jar, and I'm just buzzing around all the time trying to get my mind to settle. And even watching it gets a bit annoying. What can we do? Has mindfulness become a stick that we beat ourselves with? Is it like resilience? It's the new whip that we all say, you're not mindful enough.
No, mindfulness makes you, at the peak of its benefit, it makes you limitless. And you can become limitless. So one of the books that I follow, and I have met the person, he's Jim Quick. I met him at one of the NAS summits. He has written this book called Limitless. He had brain injury, very similar to ADHD, etc. His mind was just jumping from one thing to the other. And he realized the mindfulness practice where he actually digital detox. There's a very mindful digital, this is the only thing I will consume. Sure, I'll consume, I'll scroll, but this is all I'll consume. Those sort of frameworks helps you you can turn your ADHD mind into a weapon if you want. Like it's absolutely powerful when you do that.
Regarding coming out of yourself, do we really want to? We're trying to prove something about having other things. Yes, Chrissy, great question. Is mindfulness just another humble brag that we can use to show off how worthy we are? I don't know. Maybe for some people it can be, but maybe in its truest essence, it can't. Maybe
the simplest way you can be mindful, and all of us do it, and we don't really give it any thought, are our to-do lists. Our to-do lists are mindful. You can make it, okay, priority number 1, priority number 2. Even if this doesn't get done, it's fine. You don't have to do everything at the same time. And just that is very powerful.
My to-do list do look like a Jackson Pollock, but I'll accept it. And I'll give it a try and accept it as mindfulness in the future. But they're more Jackson Pollock, I have to say, than nice to-doist. But very good. That sounds like a big problem. Tell me, linear meets non-linear. How are you going to bring these non-linear thinkers, these, I don't know, whatever the heteronormative equivalent of being octopus is, being a crab?
I would say everybody has the capacity to be non-linear. And some people are just there already. They have already accepted themselves that this is how our mind works. I have a feeling the way this will work in our current system, we don't need to change the system. We don't need to overhaul it completely. We can do things within it. Within it is just having, for example, AI. AI is so perfectly set up for non-linear thinkers because AI validates you. The more you chat with ChatGPT, like ChatGPT is your brainstorming partner, you can build up solutions really fast. That's exponential. Imagine putting a non-linear, one person can think for 10 people. You can bring rapid prototyping, rapid product development, rapid design, everything at super fast speeds. So what is important is those non-linear folks should be included in these AI incubation labs in defense hackathons. I was actually called onto one of the defense hackathons for Department of Defense. That's exactly what they're doing. They want nonlinear minds to create something for automated, we call it warfare, but more like, can we have systems which do not have so much collateral damage, which are intelligent systems?
But for like argy-bargy, so it doesn't get quite so out of hand. So it just kind of stays down at the like low-level argument rather than getting full-on war. That kind of thing.
Exactly. How can you make an empathetic system? You can only make an empathetic system if you input empathetic information. If you make AI mean, AI will be mean. If you make AI kind, AI will be kind.
But presumably you're just putting yourself in. So is it not a bit like a personality test where you say who you think you are and the personality test says, yeah, you are, because that's what you said you were. And you just kind of go around in a loop of self-confirmation, but you might not be like that at all. Does ChatGPT just tell me what I want to hear?
Not really. If you there are ways you can brainstorm with ChatGPT that, tell me where I'm wrong. This is what I'm thinking. Do you think I'm wrong? It will tell you, have you thought like this? Have you thought like this? It will give you those different perspectives.
Tell it to
if you
speak like my
wanted
mum.
to.
Yeah, that'll shake it up. Yeah, okay. So there's an approach. I've used ChatGPT recently as my therapist, and it is exponential growth. But I don't know what I've done now. Just I don't know.
What did you think, Aidan? Did you think it was spitting out information
good,
that you?
It spotted my blind spots a bit too well, and I thought I'll go back to the old one, go back to the face to face. Yeah,
exactly. and ChatGPT is just such a small tool. There's so much innovation happening in the AI space, and I think the neurodiverse folks, the nonlinear folks, this is it. This is the time. This is the time to see. We are moving into a permissionless society. Nothing stops you. If you're not in Harvard MBA, it doesn't mean that you cannot consult. Just because you're not an engineering graduate does not mean that you cannot hack into systems. You absolutely can. And it is a permissionless society, and AI and all these innovations are helping you make the impact that you need, or you should have that impact.
Yeah. Although I took on a job as an agricultural consultant last week, and I've never worked on a farm in my life, but I didn't check. So
you are following your curiosity, sir. I can tell that right now.
Gave them my 2 cents. The combine harvesters out they went. It's
why
way
not?
Too early. But anyway, why not?
I live my life like that. Why not?
Well, because then we find ourselves standing in front of tens of thousands of people giving a speech of something we don't really know what we're talking about. We can wing it.
And that's not true. Aiden, there was a point in my life when I had 400 rupees in my bank account. In dollar terms, that's maybe less than 0.5 cents.
How did ChatGPT tell you to multiply that?
It was maybe not 0.5 cents. That's about whatever. Maths is not my strong suit, but it was really less money. And from that, my bank account had money that I didn't know what to do with. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll travel. And money is such a game. It's such an energy that you can bring in or throw out. It depends on what you do with your mind. It will follow your curiosity. If money will follow your curiosity, and that's what I have realized. We deserve to know who we are. We all deserve to know who we are. From all the labels that have been given to us, I am an Indian American mother of 2. There are things that I wasn't supposed to do. I've done it all. And I have been, I'm alive, I'm well, I'm fine.
I'm starting to worry now. What have you done? Where are the bodies?
Sorry, this is a live stream, sir. I will not be able to tell you many things. How my kids are okay. We are fine. Nothing will, if you don't take a chance, if you don't see and see what you can do, who you are, how will you know? How will you have an impact on other people? So I think we are very powerful.
I think that's a very good that's a very, very good takeaway from our session. So thinking about it, what practical steps could our non-linear thinkers take to find out who they are underneath all those labels? How can they get rid of the labels, the tentacles, whatever it is they're under? What actionable step, what one thing can they do after this podcast that'll have the biggest impact in finding out who they are, so they can go forward and be the kind of kind, compassionate, mindful person that the humanist knows they are?
I have actually 3 steps that you can take. You follow first is you follow your curiosity. Don't just like blow up everything that you have. Just start with following your curiosity. Follow people who inspire you and see what they do. There's something that inspires you, and find that out. And the third thing is writing. Write the thoughts that come to your mind. Take it away from your mind, and then your mind becomes faster. It's like a Google Drive, right? You put your photos from your phone to the Google Drive in the cloud, and your phone is faster. It's the same thing. These are the 3 things: curiosity, follow people. Yeah.
I inspire you, and write it all down.
Right.
Reflective journaling. If you don't take the chance, you'll never know what you can do.
Vomit it out. It's fine. ChatGPT takes text dictation now. Tell it to just vomit it. ChatGPT will organize it for you. You don't even need to do.
So, Namrata, presumably you've got a ChatGPT programmable remote control in the pipeline. That's going to be like a one-touch intuitive programming remote control.
I am going to connect my Google to, or ask my husband, who is my tech support, to to kind of connect my Google AI assistant to my TV, and I will talk it out. I'll be like, change it to Madam VP, change my screen. It will do it.
Well, I tried that, but it didn't really understand my accent, and we ended up on all sorts of programs. And also, when you swear at the TV, then
you have a good accent. I like your accent. It's very nice.
Thank you very much. The dulcet Celtic tones, they do go down well in most places. They're very nice for meditation. If anyone wants a guided meditation recorded. So that's it. We had somebody just there say take a chance. So we'll maybe sign off this week's podcast with a quote from ABBA: take a chance, take a chance, take a chance. And there we go. So Namrata, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. That concludes this exciting episode of the Octopus podcast. So thank you, Namrata, for sharing your wisdom, your experience, your passion for the non-linear revolution. If our readers or our listeners rather, wanting to get in touch with you or wanting to connect with the humanist, how could they do that?
LinkedIn is the best platform. And then, of course, my socials, they're all here. So I'm on all of them, on Facebook, on Instagram. Humanist is on my bio. So LinkedIn is actually the best way. Yeah, that's also
very good. I'm highly disagreeable, and so I'm only on LinkedIn. I got sick of the rest of them and other people's dinners. But anyway, so thank you, very wonderful. And if you listeners, if you have any questions about how you can join the movement, feel free to reach out to me through LinkedIn, Aidan Gillan-Bronze, or visit theoctopusmovement.org. Remember, every mind has the potential to be an octopus mind. Embrace your unique way of thinking. Join the movement, and let's bloom a sustainable future together. This is Aidan Gillan-Bronze of the Octopus Podcast signing off until next time. I'll be back in 2 weeks' time, but it's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday until then.
Thank you, Aidan.
Thanks, Namrata. What a pleasure.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.